Yeah, that's really how I'm feeling right now. Just to work on myself and things like that. Try to better myself as a person, as a dad.
Has officially announced his retirement, right? He told the people around him that he is retiring from the sport of boxing. He is no longer going to compete in the sport of boxing due to his frustration with the way and the direction the sport of boxing is going in.
Whatever, I don't know. Maybe this could be the reason why Tank say he want to leave boxing. He gonna tap out, stuff like that. He still has a fault, Devin Haney, and that's not going to happen.
Gervonta Davis has finally broken his silence about retiring from boxing, citing exhaustion from the fame and constant scrutiny. He shared that anything he says gets misinterpreted and blown out of proportion, making it hard for him to be his authentic self in the public eye. Davis admitted that boxing no longer excites him the way it once did, calling the sport lame and explaining that this lack of passion is what ultimately pushed him to step away.
Yeah, that's really how I'm feeling right now. Just to work on myself and things like that. Try to better myself as a person, as a dad. All around, human being.
Yeah. Is it the fame? Is it something that you just don't like all the attention? Or
yeah, I'm starting to shy away from the attention and things like that come with it.
Yeah, because it's like anything you do or say, it's all over the blogs. It's taken the wrong way. It's getting posted.
Yeah.
Like you can't even be yourself at this point.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, it's getting more so lame type of thing.
According to Davis's team, his retirement is largely fueled by growing frustration and personal stress, particularly stemming from an ongoing legal case involving the mother of his children. The unresolved nature of the situation has created uncertainty and added pressure, deeply affecting Davis's mental state. These external challenges appear to have distanced him further from the sport, heavily influencing his decision to walk away for now.
So I'm sure by now many people have heard about the news that was broken by Rick Glazier, who stated that 5-time world champion, 3-division world champion, undefeated superstar boxer, Gervonta Tank Davis, 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 28 wins by way of knockout. 30 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 28 wins by way of knockout, has officially announced his retirement, right? He told the people around him that he is retiring from the sport of boxing. He is no longer going to compete in the sport of boxing due to his frustration with the way and the direction the sport of boxing is going in.
News of Davis's retirement quickly gained traction online. A tweet from Happy Punch read, "Gervonta Davis has reportedly retired from boxing after being fed up with the sport. Tank is retiring. Won't fight again," according to those close to him via Rick Glazier. While the announcement surprised many fans, others saw it as a reflection of the weight Davis has carried both inside and outside the ring. Blue Blood Sports TV speculated that Davis may not be done for good, suggesting that his current mindset is shaped by mounting personal and professional pressures. Some believe Davis is trying to avoid a rematch with Lamont Roach, which he sees as low stakes, and is instead angling for a more lucrative fight, possibly against Jake Paul on Netflix rather than continuing under Amazon's promotion. This has led many to suspect his retirement talk may be more of a strategic play than a permanent decision.
Gervonta Tank Davis retiring? No. Has he told people this? Yes. But this is nothing new. I told you the Lamont Roach Jr. fight was off. It was going to take place in June. He was not happy with the way things were playing out. He wanted to get to that Jake Paul bag with Netflix. That has nothing to do with Amazon. Jake Paul is in charge in that situation. Ain't gonna put that money in Tank Davis's pocket. I told you guys this. But you guys don't believe me. You always love to say I'm tapping or hating on Tank Davis. No, I'm just telling you what's going on behind the scenes. Gervonta Tank Davis is not gonna retire. He's frustrated. He may step away from the sport of boxing for a while. But again, he was already planning to do that before the Lamont Roach Jr. draw.
Amid all the speculation and differing opinions, Gervonta Davis has officially announced his retirement from boxing. While many believe this may be temporary, prompted by recent frustrations and personal struggles, Davis has made it clear he's stepping away for now. Whether this marks a definitive end or just a pause in his career remains to be seen.
Tank Davis is retired? Superstar and legendary knockout artist Tank Davis has officially retired. Or so he claims. Tank Davis has had one of the hardest 18 months in boxing. See, first he just got out of prison. Then he had a fight with Lamont Roach that should have been a pushover, which afterwards he was going to negotiate a huge money fight with Jake Paul. But Lamont Roach had a great game plan and they ended up having a draw. That Lamont Roach probably should have won. There's a controversial no knockdown call. But now Gervonta Davis is once again facing jail time after some domestic abuse charges. So I really think this is temporary. He's probably just retiring for now, especially with all the legal fees this man's gonna need. Part of this is probably to avoid the Lamont Roach rematch and push that off as he can. But really, most of this is probably so he can focus on his legal issues. And then after all that is wrapped up, he's gonna get back into boxing. Boxers do fake retirements. It's just what they do. Especially after disappointing fights and doing legal trouble. Tyson Fury's in the middle of a fake retirement right now. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think he's really retired for good? Let me know in the comments.
Bleacher Report confirmed the news with a tweet. Gervonta Tank Davis announces he's retiring from boxing after 2025, reinforcing what now appears to be a firm decision from the undefeated fighter. Davis has spoken about retirement for over a year, frequently citing the emotional toll and constant pressure that come with the sport. He recently said he doesn't even get angry anymore, suggesting a loss of the fire that once drove him. Former champion Antonio Tarver weighed in, expressing concern about Davis's path. Tarver emphasized that talent alone isn't enough. Without personal growth and strong guidance, even the most gifted fighters can falter. He views Davis's struggles as part of a broader issue in the sport, calling it disheartening to see such promise potentially go unfulfilled, especially with a major fight looming.
To see you right here in New York City, man. Always showing love. Alright, so Jay Martinez of Fight Hoop TV. So happy to see you once again. The biggest talk, let's jump into it. Obviously, we got a good weigh-in here in a moment.
Yes.
We got some good presser after this. The biggest talk that just happened moments ago, Gervonta Davis, jump into it, kind of, I wouldn't say it's a big shock to a lot of us, but, there's this mindset, the fight with Lamont's not signed yet. Apparently he's going to fight Jake Paul. Like, what's put it in and out of boxing right now?
Hey, man, I don't know, but, get these guys the bag so they can get the hell on if they're not committed and dedicated to the sport. All they want is a bag. Give them a bag so they can go, bro. I mean, let these fighters that really want this shit, let's parade them. Let's get behind them. Let's support them. Let's build them. I'm not saying I don't know what happened. But I just hope and pray that young man get it together. He's at the top of his career, prime of his career. I would want him to be remembered more by the things that he's doing in the ring rather than out. But, sometimes you gotta win in life too before you can get in that ring and win. And sometimes life is harder than any opponent that we can face. And I just hope he get it together, bro. I feel like a lot of these young men don't have no mentors, bro. It ain't no more handlers in the game, bro. It ain't nobody taking care of the camp. These guys out here on their own frequency, bro. And I just think there's no more leaders in the game, bro. They're not going to where that real energy is that can really humble these guys a little bit. We only got a short period of time to be professional boxers. This shit is over quick, bro. And you don't ever want to live with no regrets.
Boxing legend Bernard Hopkins also shared his thoughts, urging Davis to focus on resolving his legal issues and prioritizing his family. Hopkins stressed the importance of making amends with the mother of his children and encouraged Davis to stay grounded. He believes that by returning to boxing with a renewed mindset, Davis could rebuild both his personal life and his career, finding a more positive direction forward.
Being here with the alien Bernard Hopkins. Bernard, first of all, good to see you, my man.
Good to see you again. Yes, sir.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, there's a lot
My
to
second
talk
home, brother.
I'm starting to say the same thing because I'm here
Yes,
almost
here
all the time.
In and out.
Bernard, a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it real quick.
Come on.
I'm sure you saw the news about Gervonta Davis being arrested once again. Just give me your thoughts.
Unfortunately, man, I hope he come out. Everybody else come out. I'm not with the domestic violence thing, man, but I hope that he get that straightened out and he get back to focus on his family and his career. Family first, and then career second. But I just wish both his ex-girl, his kid's mother, you know what I mean, to get things together and look forward and be positive going forward.
Bernard, you think his head, is there right now with boxing? Do you think he just needs another mentor? What does he need? Because he's a great talent.
I don't know, and I don't know him very that well.
Gervonta Davis has begun to speak more openly about his personal goals outside of boxing, revealing a deep desire to become more emotionally grounded and supportive for those closest to him. He acknowledged that the demands of his lifestyle and career have often pulled him away from what matters most, his daughter and his family. Now, Davis says he's ready to shift his focus. His willingness to grow, seek help, and be more present in the lives of his loved ones signals a man in pursuit of emotional maturity and long-term fulfillment.
What's good, YouTube? Crown Jewel from Crown Jewel Boxing. Back with a gem. Checked out the press conference yesterday. Watched the Rise podcast. 2 days ago, watched the Rise podcast response to it yesterday. And I just have to say, I see a lot of people think that, Tank is bluffing with the retirement talk. Could be. I doubt it, though. And I'm going to tell you why I doubt it. When he talked about wanting to seek therapy and the person he has to be in order to be the fighter that he is, and wanting to be a softer person, for his daughters, wanting to seek therapy, become a better person, to be with his children and lead the limelight, it seemed like a lot of emotion and passion in that. It seemed like he really meant what he was saying. There's a lot that comes with not only boxing, because, all fighters deal with certain things with being a boxer, physically, mentally. But he has to deal with being a celebrity, an international star on top of that. And I can't even imagine that pressure. So, things get old, your whole life gets scrutinized, no matter what moves he makes, it's going to be accepted by some.
The timing of Davis's retirement appears closely tied to recent personal turmoil. Just before what could have been a highly anticipated rematch with Lamont Roach, Davis once again found himself embroiled in legal trouble. Following his release, he publicly announced his decision to step away from the sport. This time, his recurring statements about being tired of boxing feel more permanent. After years of juggling public scrutiny, personal battles, and professional demands, Davis seems ready to close the chapter and find peace beyond the ropes.
And the woman said that, hey, I looked at him and I asked him to help me, and he looked at me and he turned his head, jumped out of the car and ran, or whatever the case may be. So he has a history of doing things like this to women. Like facts. Whether you like it or not, whether you're a Tank Davis fan or not, you can't get around that. That's the truth. So now, what's going to happen with the Lamont Roach fight? And better yet, what's going to happen, will that fight still go on? I don't know. They haven't announced it, made an official announcement yet. We know the fight is scheduled for next month, August, but it hasn't officially been announced yet. And we do know if that fight is announced, PBC will have reporters there to tell those reporters, look, if you want to have access to Gervonta Tank Davis, you better not ask him certain questions. This is what goes on in the media. See, a lot of these guys, they want access to the fighters, so they have to play ball. They have to go along with the get along just so they can get access to interview the fighter. Coach Malachi, I don't give a fuck about the access. Fuck having access to the fighter. I only fuck with those who fuck with me. If you're a fighter who fuck with me, I'll fuck with you. And then, we can do an interview. That's fine. I have no problem with it because I got love for you like that and vice versa. But if it's a fighter that don't like you or don't like me or whatever the case may be, I don't give a fuck. I don't try to fit in, in square circles. If it's a square circle, you know what I mean? If it's a square in a circle, I don't try to fit in with squares. And if you ain't in the circle, I ain't trying to get in the circle. Do you get what I'm saying? So, of course, these reporters, that's what they're going to do. So now, as it relates to Lamont Roach, what does Lamont Roach do from here?
Fans and analysts have responded with understanding and empathy to Davis's situation, recognizing the immense mental and physical toll that boxing takes, especially for someone who's lived in the spotlight since a young age. Many believe that if Davis no longer has the passion for the sport, stepping away is not just smart but necessary. Rather than watching a diminished version of the fighter they admire, supporters have voiced that they'd rather see him walk away with dignity and prioritize his happiness and well-being.
And, ridiculed by others, and some people grow tired of it. Living a public life ain't for everybody. He's been tremendously successful, whatever he decides to do. I wish him well. I think we need to, watch this Lamont Roach fight closely because we've seen this in the past. When Mike Tyson talked about his heart no longer being in it, or you heard Buddy McGirt recently come out and say, the fire left him, while he was in camp in the middle of a run. I mean, it happens, and we don't know how it's going to affect him as a fighter. I would hope, he could find it in himself to be motivated and get prepared, and be the best version of himself. Because, as a Tank fan, I don't want to see him in the ring in any other capacity. If he can't bring himself to be the best version of himself, then I think he should walk away. But regardless of what he decides to do for people like myself, I've had a great time, watching his career. I wish him the best in his personal life. He didn't say he's retired immediately. He just said he's going to fight 3 times in 2025, and then it'll be over. Whoever those 3 fights he chooses to fight, we have to respect it. And I would just say, enjoy him while he's here. Because, everybody in sports, whether it's boxing or otherwise, is only going to be active for a certain amount of time. And once it's over, it's over. So instead of, Monday morning quarterbacking, ridiculing or criticizing, I think he's been a very special talent, and we need to enjoy him while he's here because the end may be really near, according to what he's saying. That's all I have for y'all right now. Until next time, keep your hands up, your chin down, your ass off the floor. Peace.
Many within the boxing community view this moment as a potential turning point in Davis's life. Given all that has transpired, now may be the ideal time for him to pause and re-evaluate his path. A break from the chaos could provide the clarity and space he needs to reflect, recalibrate his priorities, and rebuild his foundation, both personally and professionally. For Davis, this could be less of an end and more of a realignment toward lasting stability and self-awareness.
That's why I don't want to box no more. I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me where so I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry, you know what I mean? Because I have 2 girls, 2 daughters. I want them to be much softer, you know what I mean? Be more humble and things like that.
Shout out to Tank Davis saying that he's going to go to therapy because he wants to soften up for his daughters and he wants to let go of the anger. And yes, although maybe the anger served him in his boxing career, it's not currently serving him now at the moment being a father. So shout out for Tank Davis. That's a real man. A real man is willing to be gentle in a tough, cruel world, right? It doesn't take much for us to be angry in the angry world. It takes a lot of courage for us to soften up and shine our light, whereas we've been maybe in darkness our whole lives, or maybe our darkness caused success, right? So like Tank Davis obviously became successful, put in the anger towards boxing, but now he's on his next level of life and stepping into his therapy era, which I love to see. So shout out to Tank Davis for stepping into your healing era. Let's go.
Throughout his career, Davis has navigated a series of legal issues, often managing to overcome them with the help of his financial resources. However, the recurring nature of these incidents points to deeper, unresolved personal struggles. Davis has admitted to being mentally and emotionally drained by everything surrounding his boxing career. With each setback, his frustration has grown, and now, after years of carrying the weight, he seems convinced that stepping away is the only way to truly find peace and stability in his life.
Alleged, and as I'm recording this, Tank has just gotten bonded out of jail, although the details of his bond have yet to come out. At this point, it seems like every couple years Tank has some sort of similar run-in with the law. His last major run-in came in December of 2022, where he was arrested for allegedly striking a woman with a closed hand type slap, although these charges were later dropped. But I'm not an expert on any of this, and I'm not really here to discuss details of a DV case. I'll let the courts do that. The question I think I can better speculate on is how this will impact his career. Now, his legal troubles in the past haven't done much to slow him down, so will this time be any different? To answer it in a single word, maybe. Now, Gervonta Davis is undeniably one of the biggest names in the sport, and because of the money he generates when he fights, really no matter what he does, it's hard for him not to find opportunities.
Though Davis had previously suggested that 2025 would mark the end of his boxing career, fans still hope to see him in a few more big matchups, including a possible rematch with Lamont Roach. But with his current mindset and recent developments, those fights now seem increasingly unlikely. The future of his career remains uncertain, overshadowed by his focus on personal healing and stepping away from the spotlight.
Gervonta Davis had his press conference. I think he turned up 4 or 5 hours late. No Calvin Ford, his trainer. No Leonard Ellaby. He turned up by himself. And then he went on to say 2025 will be his last year in the sport. He wants to get therapy, and he feels like he can't get therapy unless he leaves the sport of boxing. He's got young kids, and he wants to be the best father he can for those kids. And if he continues fighting, then the therapy won't work. Kind of made sense to me.
That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more updates and insights on Gervonta Davis and the world of boxing.